Well, I guess let's go ahead and get started with some introductions. Give people some time to get on. I'll start with me. Jennifer Borlick. My pronouns are she and her. I work for Rock County Planning. I'm the GIS manager. And we'll go to Kelly.
Hi, my name is Kelly Felton. My pronouns are she and her, and I work for Stock County. I'm a GIS specialist, cartographer, LAO, kind of three different titles, so to speak. And I've been working with Stock County for 25 years now.
Who's logged in as the WLAA admin?
That's me. I'm logged in as admin and as myself.
Oh, okay. Well, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
All right. I am Laurel Hodkiewicz. I work for, my pronouns are she and her. I work for Excel Energy in Eau Claire. And I'm also the chair of the Spring Education Committee.
Put together this fine offering for us this month. It's a good idea. I like this layout. We'll move on to Sue.
Hi, my name is Sue. I work in the CART lab at UW Milwaukee.
And your pronouns?
She and her.
Okay. Colleen?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Colleen, she, her, and I work for the legislature.
Andrea?
Hi, everybody. I'm Andrea Bone, she and her. I work for Toph and Associates, which is an engineering firm out of Missouri. So I work out of my house in Stevens Point.
Anne?
There we go. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Yay. Hi, everybody. I'm Ann Barrett, Executive Services Manager at WLIA for several years, and my pronouns are she and her.
Caitlin? Caitlin, if you're talking, you're muted.
Oh, yep, I was. My name is Caitlin, and I am the GIS manager for the state of Onalaska, and my pronouns are she, her.
Okay. Carmen?
Hello, Carmen Novak. Pronouns are she and her, and I work for Bayfield County, Wisconsin.
And you are?
And well, with Bayfield County, I'm a GIS technician, and this year I am the WLIA president.
There we go. Own that.
Right.
Exactly.
Coulter?
Sorry about that, juggling a couple of things. So I am Coulter Sikora, he, him, and I am the broadband mapping coordinator at the State Public Service Commission.
And Carolyn?
Yeah, I'm Carolyn Adams, and my pronouns are she, her, and I'm the business manager and co-owner of North Point Geographic Solutions.
And Caroline?
Hello, I just arrived. My name is Caroline. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a cartographer and GIS specialist. Is there anything else?
No, that was it.
Okay.
Heidi?
Hello, I'm Heidi Fish with North Point Geographic Solutions. I'm the marketing and sales director, and I use pronouns she and her.
Joe?
Let me see if I can get myself unmuted. I'm Joe Martell. I'm the Langley County GIS, LIO, PDQ, whatever other designation they want to throw at me. And my pronouns are he and his. Thank you for holding the meeting. And I also help Laurel. I'm the vice chair for the meeting. Spring meeting this year. Thank you.
Did you say PDQ? Joe?
I mean, anything, right? Everything, 911. Literally, I just did something for the library yesterday, so I'm not sure AL something, whatever.
Right, Kim Meinert.
Hi, Kim Meinert, Waukesha County, GIS analyst, she, her.
Lisa?
Lisa Herman. My pronouns are she and her. And I work for WisDOT in Methods Development Unit as an application specialist.
Okay. All right, so things were jumping around here. Did I get everybody? I think I did. Well, welcome everybody to the Equity Advocates Special Interest Group taking place during the spring virtual meeting series. There is no charge for this one, but if you would like to register and have access to all of the other content, I'm sure Laurel can find a link for you and put it in the chat. Sorry to put you on the spot. So today I have invited, or Kelly and I have invited Heidi Fish and Carolyn Adams from North Point Geographic. They're heading up an EDGE collaborative, and EDGE stands for Ethnically Diverse Spatial Engagement. Kelly and I had the pleasure to hear them speak. Was it last month? Yeah, last month at the Equity Advocates Group. Oh, Kim was there too. That's right. With Minnesota GIS LIS. It was very interesting, and I think this is something that we could work together with, and I would very much like for you to hear what they have to say. So thank you again, Heidi and Carolyn.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having us. I'm going to drop a bunch of information in the chat. I'll refer to a bunch of it during the presentation, then you have it if you ever want to click on it. And then let me see if I can share my screen here. All right, and I'm going to turn off my video so that hopefully my internet is good the whole time. All right, can you guys see that?
Perfect.
All right. Well, thank you again for having us. We really appreciate the time and space to share what we've been working on, collaborating with Urban GIS on. It's called EDGE, which stands for Ethnically Diverse Geospatial Engagement. This movement was started by Keith Saralis from Urban GIS, and we got connected with him, and we're very passionate about the movement as well. And so we're just spreading the word, and yeah, we'd love to tell you more about it. So first of all, I'll play this video. I think it just gives a really good overview as to what EDGE is. Hopefully we'll play today. Why isn't it playing today? Oh, technology. You know what, I bet it is because I took it off the website and they're updating the website. All right, maybe we won't have the video today.
I'll look to see if I can find it and pop it in the chat.
Yeah, it's on there. It was on the main page, but they're literally like overhauling the website right now. So it may not be where it was, which is probably why that link doesn't work. They just sent me some updated screenshots this morning of the website. So it's actively changing. But just a little bit more about Keith. You know, he's been in the geospatial industry for 22 years, founded Urban GIS 13 years ago. And, you know, with all of the civil unrest that's happened the last year and a half, he just really felt passionate about how can we bring more awareness to minorities in the geospatial industry, and how can we shine a light on those underrepresented groups. So the mission, vision, and purpose, if you click on the website link that I sent you, assuming that it works, I just checked that page like an hour ago, you can see this mission, vision, and purpose on that page. But it's really about connecting us as an industry. How do we shine more awareness? How do we improve education? How do we start employing underrepresented groups? How do we collaborate with underrepresented companies? Just really, how can we start working together across the industry. Just look at the demographics quickly. As a country, about 40% of people identify themselves as ethnically diverse. However, if you look at the geospatial industry, it's not the same ratio. We only have about 20% representation. So this is the website. Like I said, it all just changed today, and it's still in progress. But you can go to the website, and there's really two main components right now with the website. One is a job board. How do we connect employers to these up and coming graduates, especially in that underrepresented categories? So we really hope that this can be a place for employers to find new staff and for new graduates to come and find positions. As you can see, this just shows that there's job listings and job descriptions of what's currently out there. And then the other big component of that is helping companies find each other and work together on projects, help some of those smaller companies that are underrepresented have more of a voice, and then help the bigger companies find those smaller companies that are looking to partner and have more opportunities. So one of the ways that you can connect into the EDGE Collaborative and get updates on what's coming up is the LinkedIn group, which I did drop that in the chat as well. So feel free to go join that group. That's probably going to have more up-to-date things than the website right now, as that's continuing to evolve and be updated. And then as far as ways that you can be engaged and start participating in this collaborative and initiative, the first one is the diversity survey. It's really going to help us inform where can we go with EDGE? What are really some of the initiatives we can do? Where are people struggling? What are companies that already have a successful diversity, equity, and inclusion program doing that's working well? If you're struggling, where are you struggling? That survey just really helps us have more insight into where we can go with this and how we can better serve the community. The second piece is partnership opportunities. We are working to create kind of a steering committee. We are currently working with a subcommittee of the PAC from ESRI, so the partner, oh my gosh, partner
advisory council.
Thank you. Thank you. Partner Advisory Council. There's a subcommittee from the PAC called the DEI, so Diversity, Equity, Inclusion. And we're really kind of combining forces with them right now to have a broader impact. But we are, for EDGE specifically, looking for anyone who's very passionate about this and wants to join a steering committee. We didn't want to call it a board of directors because we don't want it to be this formal board that you feel like you're committing to. But if this is something you're passionate about and you have some ideas and want to be more involved, we'd love to hear from you. Feel free to reach out to Carolyn or I. And then as the site continues to be updated, we'd love to spotlight companies that are doing great things with diversity and inclusion, or if you've got job listings, really being able to highlight companies and connect companies as well. And then lastly, this date was just set this week, so I don't have any details on how to join it yet, but if you want to mark this on your calendar, on Wednesday, June 16th from 12 to 1:30 Central Time, we're going to have kind of a diversity, equity, and inclusion kickoff town hall type meeting. Some of the folks from ESRI will be on there. Several of the companies that are part of this subcommittee from the PAC will be on there. And really just kind of starting high level, like here's where everyone's at, and getting some feedback from people in the industry on where they're struggling, where they need help, opportunities for education. So if that's a time that you're able to join us, we'll make sure that you get more information on that meeting. But that's really a great way to kind of learn more. And if you feel aligned after that, kind of raise your hand and say, I really want to participate more in this EDGE collaborative. And finally, I'll just leave you this quote by Gandhi: our ability to reach unity and diversity will be the beauty and test of our civilization. So with that, I know that's fast and furious, and some of it's very much an evolution. So we appreciate you having us on so early in the process. But any questions that we can answer at this point? All right. Well, if you think of anything later or you have any questions or want to reach out to us, our emails are in the chat. And we look forward to seeing you on future events.
Thank you very much. So what if an organization wanted to join the collaborative, what kind of supports would you expect or be able to give to help us work together towards a more diverse and inclusive work environment?
Yeah, that's a great question. Right now the first step right now is really joining that meeting on the 16th. If you have any job openings or you're interested in being on the site from a project collaboration perspective, plug you in there. Otherwise, if your firm feels really passionate about this and wants to be part of the steering committee, we welcome that connection as well. I know that's not a super direct answer to your question, but it is definitely, and that's part of the steering committee, right? So if there's some idea and opportunity that you see, with this initiative and, some type of education or some other level of networking or programming that you think would be really effective. That's why we're really asking people to be a part of the steering committee, if that's something you have a lot of great ideas and passion about.
What do any of our members think about this, or what we would like to do to be involved?
This is Carolyn. I guess I have a question, maybe just for the group. If there are initiatives that folks are already doing that you feel have been working successfully for your organization to try to promote diversity and inclusion, whether that's for underrepresented communities, or if it's women in the GIS industry, what are some things that you feel your organizations are doing that have been working well, or maybe if you have ideas for things that you're thinking about trying?
Well, I think one of the things, at least in Rock County, that we're trying to do, I'm not sure how many other counties or any other organizations have this, but we now have a diversity and inclusion, I guess not really a committee, but we meet once a month to discuss things that are going on, working with some of the community partnerships that we have. And then there's another little segment that we do called Uncomfortable Conversations, which is interesting. And I find I'm on our committee, and what I'm finding difficulty in is elevating the voice of gender without not excluding, but without covering the voice of race. Our group, this group was originally founded as Women in GIS. So we were very much, concentrated on gender, and we want to expand here. So how do we do that without trying to look like, the white savior complex kind of thing, elevating the voices without condescending, I guess. So trying to find that balance.
Yeah, actually this past week, Clinton Johnson from Esri spoke very passionately about using the word diverse versus underrepresented populations. And I think that that's kind of a good bridge to that struggle, because Carolyn and I have had that discussion too, because we're a women-owned business and that's our perspective, but then we're, part of the EDGE Collaborative, which is really about minorities and them having a voice. So I totally understand that dichotomy. But I think I at least found Clinton's explanation on the underrepresented groups as that's a very good term to use, because then it does include women and minorities that aren't having the voice in the industry,
right?
Without trying to overshadow the minority issue by voicing gender differences. So I found that term in itself in that discussion, because his point was when you call people they're diverse, you're almost like segregating them more by saying that they're different.
Right.
Versus you're saying that we're just underrepresented. It just means that our voice needs to be heard more. And that could be a gender thing. It can be LGBT, it can be minorities, it can be, whomever is underrepresented from a voice perspective.
And I also look at it, like the Stonewall riots, it was a Black trans woman that was all based around, so when you look at gender and race combined, there's another group that, it's, I don't know. I'm not coming up with the words that I want to use right now, but yeah, so I mean, that's something that I'm struggling with. So
yeah, I appreciate that.
Heidi, I liked what you said about, this is Caitlin, about what you said about underrepresented, because that's always evolving. There's always going to be another group that is underrepresented, and that's always changing. I mean, like, look back 20 years, there wasn't a lot of women in GIS and engineering, but that's changing. I mean, they've really pushed STEM for girls in school and whatever. So it's always changing, but it's the principle of the matter is not the group. It's the point that we are all humans, and some are underrepresented in different industry, and so having the ability to evolve as a group is good. You have to make more, I guess, generalizations, I guess I'm looking for is the word, but I've always thought that if you use words like diverse or that it innately, that word separates people, and if you say, oh, this is just for women, or this is just for race, it's like perpetuating that entire idea. But just saying, like, we are a support group for people that are underrepresented is truly where I think we can actually go somewhere with this.
Yeah, I love that.
This is Kim. I think too, that from when you look at leadership who are tasked with this concept and trying to get more a diverse workforce, they tend to think in the idea of checking boxes, like, well, we have 5 Black people now, we're done, right? But are they represented? Do they have that voice at the table? Are they just, they're not just there to make you look good, you need to actually listen to them too. So that's always, in Waukesha County, I always wonder which case that is sometimes when I see things coming down the pike like that. So.
Well, and Kim, adding on to that is, no one wants to be hired because of the group they fall in. They want to be hired for their mental capabilities and their skills And so if they know they just checked a bunch of boxes, what does that do to their self-esteem? What does that do to their self-worth? Thinking that they just got hired because they're a woman or because they are transgender. And it like I said, it just perpetuates those boxes that they fill.
Yep. Yep.
And then conversely, if, you know, even in the premise that they were hired based on their skills, other people can still look at them and go, oh, they were just there to check a box. So, I mean, once they even get into the position, no matter how qualified they are, you know, are they going to be treated fairly by fellow employees? So I think it goes, you know, beyond even just the hiring and checking the boxes, quote unquote, or tokenizing somebody. And we need to embrace, for lack of a better term, those underrepresented voices, to not treat them like a token or a checkbox.
Yeah, if people were more transparent in their hiring process, like maybe you don't even put your gender or your, like, why do you have to fill that stuff out? First of all, why do you have to fill those things out on your job application? And, you know, have it done via, you know, conference call over the phone where they can't even see you. I mean, and then being transparent about your candidates to your team that's going to be working with them. And so it's obvious that, you know, these people are being hired for the work that they do and their resume and, you know, their whole background, and just so that you stop people from thinking that they're hired to fill, you know, to fill some whatever quotas they're supposed to meet.
Caroline just posted that their job application materials are redacted by the HR department before the hiring committee sees them. And that's what Rock County does too. When we get that first batch of applications, we don't know, I don't think we know their birthday, and we don't know their name. So we just know what is everything else. Now, some of them submit a resume and that's not redacted, but but on the application materials themselves, there is no name.
That's cool.
That is amazing. I've never heard of that. You know, our company is based out of Springfield, Missouri. So the general makeup of the population there is white, and the company's tried to hire some people of different races, and they don't want to work there. So one guy, he was going to come, he was going to move from Georgia, I think. And who knows why he didn't want to work there. But in my head, I kind of speculated, like, well, how do you hire people if they really, I mean, they see the environment, maybe they see the people that work there and they're like, no, I don't want to work there.
Yeah, that's a struggle, you know. I mean, and I think that's, you know, a struggle that we're having with our group too, is, I mean, we are pretty darn white, you know, and, you know, how do we ask people to join our group? You know, the same thing as hiring. How do we ask them to join our group without tokenizing them, you know, without trying to click a checkbox, and, you know, without them having to do the emotional labor of trying to carry the weight of their entire ethnic group on their shoulders.
If we're bringing up things that, you know, our organizations are doing that are helping or trying to help toward these things, well, I work for the University of Wisconsin, so of course we have a really large organization, and maybe this is more feasible for a large organization, but one of the things that they have been doing is hiring people in cohorts, so you have a set of people who start together instead of one at a time. And that offers the possibility of having a group, a diverse group who start all together instead of one person being hired and them being the only person who is adding diversity to that department. So I think the environmental studies and or geography brought in a group of professors, for instance. So it may or may not be possible for a smaller organization to do such a thing, but that is what one strategy that UW-Madison is using. And when they redact the personally identifying information, they do actually redact the names off of resumes too, and block out the years of graduation and block out a lot of the years for like specific years for when people were working at places. So that gets at age discrimination, I think. So it is kind of we saw a lot of black boxes looking over the application materials. And then we go through a process of essentially a rubric that scores all of the applications and is very clear on why exactly any applications that advance to the next step, why did you not advance the other ones? We have to have documentation that's really clear on every step of the process. Whenever you drop another application out of consideration, why did the others advance? And if some applications scored as well as other ones that you're advancing, you must advance that one as well. It doesn't always mean that you're going to end up with someone from an underrepresented group being hired, but it helps with the proven case studies of non-white sounding names being less frequently given the opportunity to interview and things like that. So I will add another thing that we did in our interview process was we gave our interview applicants the questions in advance because we were not necessarily interested in their skill in just responding on the spot to these questions. So sending the interview questions 24 hours in advance helps us get at meaningful answers to those questions instead of a particular skill which is being put on the spot, which was not necessarily something that they have to do in the job. It's not super relevant to that position. So I thought that just helped us get at rethink the whole interview process, because you're trying to shape it in a way that's actually going to get at the things that are important to the job and not to this process of interviewing that kind of tests for things that aren't even relevant to the job in some ways. So
That's really good information, Carolyn. I really appreciate that. I'm floored. I love how there's a couple different examples in there that I would love to present to our county, because I think that's really good to look at all those different ways in which we can kind of eliminate bias in that process. And it looks like they're doing a really good job. Sounds like it. Does it make the job looking and reviewing those? How does that work with, I mean, you've been through it a couple times. I'm assuming you've looked and interviewed people, or you just are aware of the process? Because it seems like it'd be a little tricky at first to get used to looking at the applications such as that, because we redact, but we don't take all the dates out. And so that makes a difference when you're looking at that. I know I look at it. I look at the dates. I look, just because that's what, it just kind of draws your attention to those certain things. So I find that interesting.
I just finished with a search process that took from February until last week. We posted the job for hiring in February. I actually brought that job description to this group to ask for people to post it everywhere that they could find. And I spent a couple of days working with some of my coworkers to specifically look for places to get that job description in front of more people, and sending it to GIS programs at different colleges and sending it to different organizations and finding local organizations that would post it to their job boards. And we did try to target diverse organizations. And then, yeah, what you're talking about with the dates, I think we still got a sense of how long somebody had worked somewhere. But they did take out, they took out graduation dates, like the specific graduation date from colleges. Maybe they must have left in some of the periods of time at companies or things like that. I think dates were probably inconsistent on whether they redacted or not, but it was a very large search. We had 173 applicants.
Wow.
And that took a long time to go through a rubric on all of them to show exactly why we're advancing certain ones and not others. But we went through several steps, and I'm happy to talk more about that process because we did finish it finally. But was there another question in there? I'm sorry.
No, I think you caught them all. I appreciate it.
I'm going to pause for a brief commercial break. If Caitlin's got a couple minutes, I know she needs to book out of here. But Caitlin was just elected the
Vice President.
Vice President. Thank you. I was going to say Vice Chair, and I knew that wasn't right. Vice President of Women in GIS. I don't know if she wanted to say a few words about that organization.
Yeah, thank you, Jen. So it's been kind of a quick whirlwind. I just met with the new president yesterday, so I don't have a lot to say. I know that they really wanted to ramp up more of the career development series. They have been working with, excuse me, I'm like out of breath. I just ran upstairs. Brandman University. But I think they're going to possibly move away from Brandman University collaborating because they want to kind of do a little bit more like of their own brand of career development. So I think we're going to see more of those, and it'll just be like a Women in GIS promoted series for career development. And they do a lot of, like last week we had Helen Thompson on. Jen and Kelly, you were on that one.
Yeah.
And so she is a trans woman in the industry, and she's worked for a long time. She had wonderful things to say, and they just have great speakers. And then they have spotlight interviews with from all sorts of groups all around the world. They're really interesting interviews. And they also have a wonderful mentor-mentee program, which that's what I've been a part of for a little while. And it's wonderful to, if you've been in the industry, if you've experienced, any hardships for whatever reason, and there's people coming right out of school and they just want help kind of navigating those waters. My mentee is out in California. She's a recent grad, and we just, you become friends, and you talk to your mentee about, help them make some decisions and just to get a perspective on it from someone else. They try to line you up with someone not too far away out of a different time zone, but so, but they're all over the world. Our president, Gabby, our new incoming president, Gabby, she's in Guatemala, and she's in Guatemala City. And we were talking yesterday, got off on a rant about vaccines down there and how like even their frontline workers haven't been vaccinated. It's pretty crazy. Wow. So it's great to just talk to women in our field, and not just women, but all sorts of underrepresented groups all around the world. So I just wanted to plug that out there, and you can find us on LinkedIn, and we have a website too. It's wigis.org, I believe, right, Kelly?
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, with that, I know it's kind of a short little plug. I gotta run some kiddos around to baseball. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and feel free to connect with me. So look forward to hearing from you guys.
All right. Thank you, Caitlin.
Yeah, thank you guys.
All right. And now we return to our regular programming. Let's see. Does anybody have any thoughts? My thought bunnies are running rampant and I can't seem to wrangle any of them.
We're still looking for some volunteers to help our group.
Yes, we are.
So anyone who would like to be fellow members that would love to be part of our group, we would love it. We're looking for three
ad hoc.
Ad hoc. Okay.
And then somebody to like act as the recorder. So when we have meetings to be able to take notes and stuff. So what we're envisioning, at least what I'm envisioning, and this, if somebody else feels something differently, we can always switch things up. But I'm seeing a core group of people that works on, overall overarching themes, like what we want to accomplish as a group, where we want to help WLIA, or how we want to interact with WLIA, kind of more the meats and bones of it, and then have people who don't have that time commitment be able to have meetings like, like the SIGs. I don't, definitely don't want to give up the SIGs. Sorry, Kelly dropped her iPad. I'm like all confused. Like,
sorry,
what is that?
I didn't drop it, it just slipped.
Oh, okay. And then, have occasional meetings to do some kind of like professional development kind of things. So I guess we would need, people to help guide in those endeavors. And then we have a couple of projects lined up. I know Jeremy has asked this group to take a look at the admin manual to make sure we're using inclusive language.
And other, I think the code of conduct, of course.
Code of conduct, yeah.
And then I think there was one other document, but I can't think of. As a side, there's a link in the chat for a forms for membership. So if you guys haven't filled it out in the past, please go and fill that out for us. We'd appreciate having you on our group.
So basically, if you didn't get an email from me yesterday, you're not on the membership list. So if you want to be on the membership list, make sure you fill that out. Does anybody have any other comments or any questions for Carolyn or Heidi? I think they're still here. Yep, they're there. Okay.
Yep, still here.
Okay. Well, hearing the abundance of silence, I will assume that we are all questioned out. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Kelly or I, or Heidi or Carolyn. And I think I will, in the Equity Advocates Slack channel, make sure that their contact information is in there. I don't know how, Heidi or Carolyn, if you guys think that you want to be in our Slack group, I don't know. WLIA has a Slack workspace, and in that workspace, we have a channel for equity advocates. I don't know if you guys are interested in that. Let me know and I'll send you guys the link. And then also the Minnesota GIS LAS has a whole workspace for equity advocates. I'm not sure how active that is. I haven't seen a lot of activity on that. So we may need more members before that becomes a big thing.
Yeah, I think it would be helpful to have the information for the Slack group for WLIA, and then we can provide, you know, updates and information too regarding meetings with Edge.
Okay, I'll make sure to send you guys a link then.
Yeah, and we really appreciate all the ideas and open discussion today. It was very insightful and helpful. So thank you everyone for contributing and providing your insights.
Well, thank you for humming. I know it was kind of a little kind of short notice, but you know, that's what happens.
We get it.
All right. So I guess with that, if there are no more questions, we shall call it a day, and everybody else go out and enjoy your Fridays and finish work and all that kind of stuff, and have a good weekend. Happy Mother's Day to the mothers.
Yes, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. Hopefully our next meeting will be in person.
Hopefully.
Knock
on woods. The only problem with that is we're going to have to go back to 7 a.m. So
well, we can figure something out.
Yeah.
We might
the good
do
and the
an
bad.
evening. Yeah, I know.
Like I kind of like this because we can do it in the middle of the afternoon. So
I do like that. I am a morning person though, and Anne always comes through with snacks. So
right. All right. And coffee.
And coffee, right.
And tea.
Right.
Hard-boiled eggs.
With sriracha.
Oh, that was so good. Oh.
Yes.
Where was that?
It was in Oshkosh.
Oshkosh, man, they had the best. They were like in little shot glasses, and they had sriracha on them, and I think paprika in the bottom of the glass. Those were good.
See, it's all about the food too.
It is.
All
right.
great.
Well, thank you all very
everybody.
much. Bye.
Thank
Bye,
you,
everybody. Thank you.
Bye.